Can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, my name is Noel Tolentino. I work with Southwest Regional Maintenance Center with main propulsion, specifically the MRG section. I'm one of the MRG SMEs for Code 263. I've been in this job for about 3.5 years. Did about 27 years in the Navy and did this job right after I retired.
Okay. Can you spell your last name?
Tolentino.
Can you spell it?
Tolentino.
That way I get the titling right.
Okay. So, Noah, roughly how many MRGs would you say you have assessed?
I've assessed quite a few. I'd say at least 10 to 15 MRGs since I've been doing this job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of the more common problems that you see when you do those assessments?
I think I can name the top 3. I would say the most common denominator of causing these MRG casualties, which I think the number 1 is ship's force lack of training.
Okay.
And also, second one I would say would be non-procedural compliance.
Okay.
And I would say the last one is ship's force chain of command involvement on what's going on the deck plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as the training, specifically what procedures, what processes do you think could be improved?
I think they need to go start doing the basic stuff like when I was growing up as a fireman in Tolentino. Go back to the basics, learn how these components work. And then from learning how these components work, you'll be able to learn how the systems work together. And the ships will be able to understand the whole concept of that engineering plant. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Now how about procedural compliance? How would you improve that or show, what do you see?
Procedural compliance, talking about there's some steps. Ship's force sometimes open up these PMS cards and EOS, and there are some steps on these procedures, on these books, that are sometimes they're not applicable for what they're doing. And they, for some reason, they do not inform their chain of command. They just line it out, assuming that it doesn't apply to them.
Okay.
Without informing the chain of command, nobody knows that this step has been neglected for a while. It hasn't been done.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll be surprised that that step is one of the critical steps of that EOS procedure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that ties back to the training side as
well. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how about the chain of command involvement? Can you elaborate on that? What you would expect to see?
We've seen a lot of major work going on, specifically MRG, attach pumps, PT brakes, dehumidifiers. We do assessments. What we see on the deck plate is the highest sailor, as far as pay grade in there, is a second class.
Okay.
Major work going on, not even a first class or a chief being involved in that evolution. So in order for that evolution to go smoothly, sometimes I need some, or we need ship's force involvement, first class chief, Chang, sometimes and even MPA and Chang are being involved in these evolutions.
Okay. No, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on the importance of the main reduction gears and why this process is so important?
Main reduction gears are one of the critical equipment on board a ship. MRG being down, it means especially on a single crew or a single shaft ship, the ship's not going to go from point A to point B. That means missing your critical underway commitments.
Okay.
For an MRG on a 2-screw ship, now you're going to have a reduced capability. Instead of being able to do this certain amount of knots, then you'll be limited to your underway operation.
Okay. Can a main reduction gear be replaced if it's broken?
It can be, but it's going to take a lot of resources, a lot of time and effort, and it's going to be a major involvement by the upper chain of command, not just the ship's chain of command, but the entire repair community, maintenance community. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I have one question. Keep looking at the captain. Keep looking at him. without naming a ship, what's the worst condition you've seen during your assessment, and what were some of the things you saw?
Worst condition, since we always deal with the MRG, worst condition is rust. We call it rusticles.
Rusticles?
Rusticles, rust falling down. See, rust starts with the soft rust, light rust, and if that rust is not abated right away, it's going to turn to hard rust, flake rust, and now it's going to go into this, transform to this what we call rusticles. This rust like icicles falling off the roof on this MRG casing, and that's the worst we've seen.
So you've seen that before?
We've seen that, yeah.
And what causes that?
It's pretty much lack of knowledge and lack of training on how to maintain these MRGs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And how does dehumidifier help prevent those kind of things?
Dehumidifier is one of the critical component on the MRG that helps out in making sure you don't have moisture on your MRG casing. And the dehumidifier is the number one thing that we've seen as being neglected on this MRG.
Okay.
And once again, going back to the basics, lack of training and procedural compliance are the most common denominator that causing that component to go down. Yeah.
Okay. In your mind, how difficult is the maintenance on the dehumidifier?
It's on a scale of 1 to 5, I would say 2.
Okay.
As long as shift force are given the basic knowledge on how and why this equipment is so important, give them a quick run through on every component inside the dehumidifier, I think it's so easy because we do a half-a-day assessment, and right after that, you have a dedicated sailor going with us through this assessment, and right after that, he's onto this component.
Ready
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
All right.
All right. Anything else to add?
I think that's about it. Yeah.
All right. Great.